What if I told you the United States, yes, the United States of America, the most powerful military on earth, is reportedly running low on some of its most important missiles? Not because we can't build them, but because we're using them faster than we can replace them. And according to an explosive new reporting, President Donald Trump, Commander in Chief, demanded answers behind closed doors after learning just how serious the situation had become. Now, the White House says that confrontation never really happened. But here's what they don't deny. America is burning through advanced munitions at a pace that has defense experts sounding the alarm. So tonight, we're separating fact from politics. Are we witnessing a media hype, or is the world's strongest military exposing a dangerous weakness? Let's follow the money and let's follow the missiles. Welcome back to Money in Politics Simplified, where we cut through the political theater, follow the money, and explain what these stories actually mean for the everyday American. According to reporting by the Washington Post of all reporting agencies, Trump demanded answers from Hegseth over severe shortages in the U.S. munitions stockpile during a recent meeting at Camp David. The report says Trump believed that the Pentagon had already handled the problem and became angry at Pete after learning that the shortage was still limiting his military options. The White House disputes that account. Trump publicly said he was extremely happy with Hegseth openly and called the reporting false and attacked the people providing information to the press. That denial must be included. We cannot present an anonymous source report as proven fact, but we also cannot allow the denial of a private argument to erase the publicly documented condition of the American arsenal. Did Trump and Hegseth have the exact confrontation described? That remains to be disputed. Are America's advanced missiles supplies under severe pressure? The available evidence overwhelmingly says yes. Reuters reported on August the 4th that the Army had used virtually all of its available ATACMSs and the precision strike missiles, commonly called PRSMs, during approximately 5 months of fighting with Iran. These are not ordinary artillery rounds. They are highly accurate, long-range weapons that allow American forces to destroy important targets without placing pilots directly over heavily defended territory. They reportedly cost more than $1 million each. The ATACMSs are the older system. The PRSM is the newer replacement, designed to travel further and strike targets with greater precision. When those weapons become scarce, the military does not simply reach into another box and pull out an identical substitute. It may have to rely on shorter range bombs, reposition forces closer to the enemy, or send aircraft into more dangerous airspace. That means greater risk to American personnel. And the shortage is reportedly not confined to offensive weapons. Independent analysts suggest that the United States has also heavily depleted the missiles used to defend American troops and allied territories from incoming Iranian missiles. The Center for Strategic and International Studies estimated in late July that Patriot inventories had fallen below 1,000 interceptors and THAAD inventories were around 250. CSIS warned that the shortages could force United States and its partners to become more selective about which incoming missiles they attempt to intercept. That is scary. When a Patriot or a THAAD battery runs low, military commanders may eventually face an awful decision. Which base do we protect more? Which city? Which group of service members? All are hard and bad decisions to make. A missile inventory is not a counting technicality. It can become a life or death calculation. Trump disputes claims that the country is defenseless or that he was blindsided by Pete Hegseth. However, while discussing the war on August the 6th, Trump acknowledged that the United States had nearly unlimited supplies of munitions, but was running low on others. He also said defense manufacturers were expanding production including additional capacity for Patriot and Tomahawk missiles. That statement matters. You cannot simultaneously say every report of shortages is fabricated while acknowledging that some weapon supplies are running low. The disagreement appears to be over the severity of the problem. Who is responsible and whether it has damaged America's ability to continue the Iran campaign, not whether every weapons category is fully stocked. Trump may also be correct that the United States still possesses enormous military power. Running low on particular missiles is not the same as having no military capability. Let me be clear. We still kick ass when and if we need to because we still have those badass United States Marines. Semper Fi till I die. Hoorah! America still has aircraft, bombers, ships, submarines, drones, conventional bombs, and other types of missiles. But those alternatives are not necessarily interchangeable, and nothing's better than the United States Marine. A cheaper guided bomb may hit a target accurately, but an aircraft might have to fly closer to the enemy air defenses to release it. So when politicians say we still have plenty of weapons, the proper follow-up question is, plenty of which weapons, sir or madam, and can they safely perform the mission being ordered? This did not happen overnight. For decades, the United States built a military designed to win short, dominant campaigns, not necessary to fire thousands of expensive missiles month after month in multiple regions of the entire world. The production system for advanced missiles is slow. Manufacturers need specialized rocket motors, guidance components, explosive materials, skilled employees, and secure supply chains. You cannot build a new missile factory on Monday and receive thousands of combat-ready missiles by Friday. That's just not how it works. CSIS estimates that restoring several heavily used missile inventories to their pre-war levels could take years. Its May analysts estimate that the Patriot, THAAD, and Tomahawk inventories could take 3 years or longer to fully rebuild under existing delivery projections, while some naval interceptor inventories could take approximately 2 years. THAAD may be among the most serious concerns. According to CSIS, the United States had received no newly delivered THAAD interceptors since August 2023, although deliveries were expected to resume by April 2027. The Pentagon is now attempting to dramatically increase production capacity. The government recently reached a multi-billion-dollar framework with defense contractors to expand the production of Patriot and THAAD components. Reuters reported that the plan is intended to triple Patriot production capacity and quadruple THAAD capacity. That sounds encouraging, but production capacity is not the same as immediate delivery. The money can be approved today while the missiles arrive years later. Many of the same long-range weapons and air defense interceptors being consumed in the Middle East would also be critical during a major conflict in the Pacific. American forces operating around Taiwan, Japan, Guam, or the Philippines could face massive waves of missiles. A U.S.-China conflict would likely require enormous quantities of long-range weapons because American aircraft and ships would be operating across vast distances and against sophisticated Chinese defenses. CSIS concluded that although the United States may retain enough weapons for plausible scenarios involving Iran, the depleted inventory creates a window of vulnerability in the Western Pacific. This creates an opportunity for adversaries like China and China does not have to invade Taiwan tomorrow to benefit from the situation. It can increase military pressure, conduct larger exercises, and force the United States to spread its assets across multiple regions. Russia can continue pressuring Ukraine and NATO. North Korea can increase missile activity. Iran can continue forcing America to expend multi-million-dollar interceptors against cheaper incoming weapons. The strategy is simple. Make the United States spin its most sophisticated weapons faster than they can replace them. This is where Washington will attempt to turn a structural failure into a partisan shouting match. Don't be distracted by this. Trump supporters will blame previous administrations for allowing production capacity and inventories to decline, like Biden and Barack. Trump's critics will argue that his administration launched or expanded a costly Iran war without adequately preparing the industrial base. There may be truth on both sides. The shortage developed over many years. Successful Democratic and Republican administrations operated with limited production lines and relied on defense contractors that could not quickly surge output. But once an administration chooses to begin or continue a major conflict, that administration owns the responsibility for determining whether the country has enough weapons to complete the mission. That's like going to California on a half a tank of gas from the East Coast. You cannot order military operations based on political instinct and ask about the inventory afterward. And you cannot solve the problem by simply firing whoever delivers the bad news. The American public deserves answers to 5 basic questions. How many critical weapons did we have before the Iran war? That's 1. How many have been used? How long will replacements take? What military components are now at risk? And did the administration receive accurate warnings before expanding the conflict? The exact classified stockpile numbers should not be broadcast to America's enemies. We all know that. But Congress has an oversight authority, and the public deserves a credible assessment of readiness. AKA, we're not going to put it on Facebook. This is also a massive financial story. Defense companies stand to make millions, now stand to receive billions of dollars in new contracts to replace missiles being used. Apparently, I chose the wrong line of work, but tomorrow I'm going to buy some stock in Lockheed Martin because Lockheed Martin previously received a contract valued up to approximately $4.9 billion for PRSM production. The Pentagon has now pursued another framework worth more than $3 billion to expand Patriot and THAAD components. And Hegseth, well, he told lawmakers that the Iran war had already cost approximately $37.5 billion, while the administration sought tens of billions of dollars in additional funding for the conflict and military readiness. So American taxpayers should pay attention here. We paid to develop weapons. We paid to build the weapons. We paid to launch the weapons. And now, here's the kicker, we will pay billions more to replace them. That does not automatically mean the spending is unnecessary. A country must defend its troops. No brainer. But the taxpayers deserve to know whether the strategy is producing security or merely creating a profitable cycle of depletion and replenishment, which is not helping the United States. The headline says, Trump and Pete Hegseth clash at Camp David. This is our simplified version. Maybe they did. The White House says they did not. Without recordings, documents, or on-the-record witnesses, we should treat the details of that private confrontation as an allegation, not as an established fact. But the missile shortage is much harder to dismiss. Reuters reports that the United States has used virtually all of a certain long-range missile that the Army normally has. Independent analysts estimate that major portions of the Patriot, THAAD, and Tomahawk inventories have been consumed. The administration is committing billions of dollars to accelerate production, and Trump himself acknowledged that supplies of some weapons are running low. Do not let the political argument distract you from the real scandal. America may have entered a prolonged war without a production system capable of replacing the advanced weapons being fired like firecrackers. And now our leaders are arguing over who knew what, when they knew it, and who should be blamed. The inventory is either there or it is not. And our oversight committees need to be on this. Personally, I think this is what you get when you pick a National Guard member and a co-host of Fox News Weekend Edition over more qualified active national and worldwide candidates for U.S. Secretary of Defense. Then you rename the Department of Defense to the Department of War and run out of the very thing you need in war. That's like Arby's running out of roast beef. You have one job there, buddy, and you can't even manage that. America may have entered a prolonged war without a production system capable of replacing the advanced weapons being fired. And now our leaders are arguing over who knew what, when they knew it, and who should be blamed. The missiles do not care who wins that argument. The inventory is either there or, again, it is not. Do you believe America's defense industrial base is prepared for a prolonged conflict, or has the country allowed missile production to fall too far behind modern military demands? This is Money in Politics Simplified. Follow the money, question the narrative, and never confuse political confidence with military readiness. Have a good night.
Talking money, talking power. Follow the paper and you find a throne. Deals in the back while the cameras roll. Who's funding fear? Who's buying hope? Who's pulling strings every time we vote?